going to take a check on the teams. One change for the Munster champions as they bid to be in a third final in 4 years. The aforementioned John Sheehan, who replaced Mark O'Shea in the quarter-finals, he's nominated for left half-back. Well, the backs came in for plenty of adverse criticism after the Roscommon game, so it'll be interesting to see whether Seamus Moynihan and the others actually switch positions in any way to cope with Tyrone's expected game plan. Darragh O'Shea has had an extra 3 weeks, of course, to recover from an ankle injury, and given his best form, he could ensure a plentiful supply of ball into the dangerous inside forward men like Mike Frank Russell, Declan O'Sullivan and Colm Cooper. There's a lot of scores among that lot, and then you look into the substitute list and my goodness, they have so many quality players like Johnny Crowley in there, and Eildon McGarrett, who is joined on the panel by his brother number 30 there, Robert McGarrett, all of them from Gaeltacht. But if Johnny Crowley and Eildon McGarrett were to come in, they would present a big threat. And there's other players as well, like Declan Quill and of course Donald Daly, who is a graduate from Tralee IT and very much a graduate of Paudy's team. Well, there's one change in the Tyrone team today for the first of the All-Ireland semi-finals. Gavin Devlin has completed his 12 weeks inter-county ban and resumes duty at centre half-back. In the reshuffle, Kieran Gourley moves to right cornerback and Dermot Carlin steps down to the bench. Cormac McAnallen continues at fullback while Kevin Hughes and Sean Kavanagh prolong their partnership in midfield. And with Seamus O'Neill having an injury-interrupted season, the forward line more or less picked itself with target men, Peter Canavan and Owen Mulligan, looking to inflict maximum damage, and the roving Enda McGinley, essentially the minister without portfolio. And again, a quick look through the Tyrone substitutes, and they all have championship experience, the vast majority of them this year. Cormac McGinley, incidentally, the number 26, he's the only one who has not made a championship appearance in this particular campaign, but he did play last year. The referee, by the way, is Jerry Knievy from Roscommon. A place in the All-Ireland final on the last Sunday in September at stake. Kerry, the Munster champions. Tyrone, champions of Ulster. The first of the Bank of Ireland football semi-finals just seconds away. And straight away picking it up here is the midfielder, Sean Kavanagh. Gonna have fun today with Kavanagh, Cavlin and Canavan, all in the Tyrone colours. Numbers taking Owen Mulligan. Challenge there by Mike McCarthy. Good ball inside. The falling body of Cavlin recovers well. Taking on Fitzmaurice, going for it. Oh, a real hit, one hope on into the centre, and Moynihan is there quickly, wins his duel initially against Peter Canavan and clears. Tomás O'Shea operating at centre half-back. In beyond Darragh O'Kinney, they should favour the back. Coming out for there was Ryan McMenamin. Out towards Philip Jordan. Very classy left half-back Jordan. Sean O'Sullivan chasing after him, pushing and fouling him, and that's going to be a free in. And Peter Canavan can come out and kick the first point.
Yes, and what a brisk, pacey start from both sides. And again, just to kind of put viewers into the know about who's marking whom, Tom O'Sullivan is taking up Enda McGinley and Mike McCarthy is taking up Owen Mulligan. And it seems Moynihan and Canavan are one-on-one on each other. At
least at this stage in the game. A goal and 42 points so far in the championship for Peter Canavan. This to be the first point of the day. Hit with accuracy. Tyrone take the lead. So that's a very promising start indeed. But a long way to go. This is Cavlin in full flight earlier on here, taking on Eamon Fitzmaurice, who switched across with O'Shea, and the loose ball hanging around there, intended for Canavan, taken up instead by Seamus Moynihan. Declan O'Keefe is the senior man on this Kerry team, age 31. Nicely gathered in again by Jared Cavlin. Fitzmaurice giving him the first couple of balls here. Brian McGuigan inside towards Canavan. Canavan trying to get loose. McGuigan kept motoring. Kerry's defence in disarray, and it's punched over the bar. Good start by Tyrone. The Ulstermen are 2 points and off to a flyer. Brian McGuigan, the scorer there, the outstanding playmaker, showing himself to be an outstanding finisher as well. And that duel there involving Peter Canavan and Seamus Moynihan, won by the number 14. Yes, a very good start.
Yeah, let's applaud the role actually in that time of Gerard Cavlin. That's the second time he's beaten Fitzmaurice to the ball down this side of the field.
So a decent start by the men from the Red Hand County. That's Conor Gormley. Here's Brian Dooher, man who will be flying all over the place. Back into space. This is with Seamus Moynihan. A little unsettled early on. A bit tentative, the Kerry backs. A lot of pressure being exerted in their direction. John Sheehan, foul this time. And there's a Tyrone player down on the ground. The foul was by Enda McGinley, but that's not Enda on the ground, that's Peter Canavan. Referee wants some words in there, and it is Mike McCarthy who's been spoken to. Declan O'Keefe calling on the referee just to talk with the umpires, but it's definitely Mike McCarthy who's got the yellow, and under 4 minutes are gone. Awful start by Kerry, but they've loads of time to recover.
That's true. I didn't see what happened that time. I think Peter Canavan was running out that time, and okay, Mike McCarthy had his hand out. There was nothing intentional in that whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Amazing to see that ended up in a yellow card.
Yes, but to be fair, Peter Canavan did actually take a blow to the face, even though it was completely unintentional, and now requires some attention by the cut.
And there is a blood substitute, and it's Stephen O'Neill who comes in. Very, very good forward, Stephen O'Neill. He scored 6 points this year in the championship, but he's had a very with the Ulster champions. Kavanagh beaten this time. Darragh O'Shea booting it outside. Moynihan trying to check his stride. Anxious to get forward. Leaving gaps at the back now. McGuigan picked it off the ground, and it's going to be a free out for Kerry. Take a little bit of the pressure off the defence. The ball has not really gone beyond the halfway point.
Yes, they're so eager, so ravenous at the moment. They have started very, very well, that's Tyrone.
They've also managed to translate their possession into scores, vital early points. Cormac McAnallen hitting this free way down, gathered in well by Stephen O'Neill. The man who's on just momentarily for Peter Canavan as a blood substitute. Owen Mulligan, ready to take on his man. Very confident player, he's had a very good season. Mulligan going all the way through, laying it off here, and McGinley was coming in, and that has gone over the bar, and it's Enda McGinley. All going Tyrone's way. It's only his third point in this year's championship. This is his very first season, but the spade work was done by Owen Mulligan, tormenting the backline of Kerry, and then there was a man coming up in support, and it was flicked over.
Absolutely skinned McCarthy that time, did Mulligan, but again, great support coming in from McGinley. Could easily have gone into the net.
Should have been 3 points. Referee just holding it up. Just wondering whether Peter Canavan is... O'Keefe, good kick out, huge one. Stopped here by Kevin Hughes. Very forceful midfielder, what a good run this is. Oh, bad pass, it was intended for McGinley. Snapped up instead there by Tom Sullivan. But Kerry with a very uneasy look about the backs. The forwards haven't had a chance so far, haven't had the possession. Now Tomas O'Shea, angling it out here into the corner. Mike Frank, setting sail. Players calling for it. Gooch is one of them. Colin Cooper, still an under-21 player. And the first effort is by John Sheehan. It's going to be a very tight one. And the bandage, Peter Canavan, is ready to come back and join the fray. John Bannon is the linesman on this near side. So the man they call Peter the Great is back in the action, and his substitute, Stephen O'Neill, is withdrawn. Already Paddy O'Shea has a very worried look about him. They had a hefty beating here in the semi-final a couple of years ago, 2 years ago against Meath. and of course lost last year's All-Ireland final. This is their 4th match of the campaign. It's Tyrone's 7th. Chance to get motoring here with Mike Frank Russell. Bad ball. Swung around that time was Gavin Devlin. Much attention will centre on his performance this afternoon. It's only his 2nd ever match in the championship. One at the very beginning of the campaign, and of course he's had the 3-month suspension ever since. Big gamble to bring him back in. Philip Jordan stumbling, running into difficulty. It's John Sheehan who's back there for Kerry. Now they need the influence of Eamon Fitzmaurice. Nicely across towards Colin Cooper. Quick look up at the post, but he's a long distance out, 65 metres. Liam Hassett. Oh, it's a no ball into space. Picked up there by Cavlin. 3rd time he's been on the ball. Easy one, however, for Seamus Moynihan. Back there minding the house. But it's almost a one-man defensive action. The others look very unsure of themselves. Bad kick by Dara O'Kinney, who popped up atop of the right. That's a couple. First season in charge, of course. Can he take them to the final? Great catch by Jared Cavlin. He's winning everything there against Fitzmaurice. That little switch isn't working too well. That time, indeed, just to be fair, it was Tom Sullivan who put in the challenge. And Sullivan has been ticked by the referee for committing the foul. Was there a push? There was by Seamus Moynihan and Peter Canavan. Canavan certainly made the most of it anyway. The referee saw it head on, but Moynihan, I think, in this All-Ireland semi-final. 1 point from a free so far for Peter. Doesn't miss too many, but this is one that has gone left, and the breeze, I think, may have been a bit of a factor. It swirled down there and carried it to the left. Well, he's the player who has saved Tyrone so often in the past. You remember in the match against Derry, when they were 4 points down with just about 6 minutes or a little less maybe to go in that, and Tyrone came back and levelled it up and took it to a second game at Casement Park. That's a great catch by Jared Cavlin. He's winning everything. And Kerry are going to switch the direction of their kickouts and take it away from Cavlin, who's playing left half forward. Seamus Moynihan held, and Peter Canavan's down on the ground again. Once more he needs attention. Don't know what happened to him. The doctor, Seamus Cassidy's coming out. Lots of booing. Didn't see what happened.
Didn't think there was anything really untoward happened. There was a good collision between the two of them going for the ball, and Peter went down that time. Again, a 50-50 ball. Okay, Moynihan got out in front. Seemed to have maybe caught Canavan, but again, like before, nothing intentional that I can see.
Well, the gash was from the earlier injury that he sustained, and some Kerry fans here are trying to influence, but at some stage or other in the future they're going to have to play without him. He's now 32, be 33 later in the year, and it looks like his day at Croke Park is over.
Yeah, that's a crying shame, actually. You know, a lot of people come to see the matinee idols like the Moynahans and the Canavans, and it's a shame that that Canavan has got to go off, but I don't see him coming back on this time. That looks a pretty serious ankle injury.
They brought out the motorised vehicle to render assistance, but he decided he didn't need it, so the doctor and the team manager helping him off. It's a big loss. Fitzmaurice for a Kerry team yet to get going. Ryan McMenamin. They look assured. Kieran Gourley fouled in possession, so it'll be a free for Tyrone, around about 30 metres out from their own end line. No decent ball going in towards Declan O'Sullivan and company so far. Here's Ryan McMenamin, likely to pop up just about anywhere. Cormac McAnallen. Many people wondered whether or not he would be able to make a fist of the full-back position. Wonderful midfielder and a player further out the field. Dewar here will run his heart out. And look at the way Tyrone are just coming together as groups, challenging in packs, working as a unit. Dewar taking the free, are ready to do so.
Yes, indeed, and Kerry are losing their composure at the moment. A number of Kerry players are getting involved off the ball in little one-to-one duels, and that is not good for them.
Stephen O'Neill, by the way, just to confirm, has come on as a replacement now for Peter Canavan. That's a great ball in. Mulligan's there. Declan O'Keefe gets a vital fist to it and knocks it well away out towards Sean O'Sullivan, the wing forward, but way back around right half back at that stage. Darragh Kinneida, look at the 4 players from Tyrone surrounding him, inviting him to hold on to it too long, waiting for a referee's whistle which never came. And he's out over the sideline with the ball, the end sideline here, but the ball wasn't. Good work by John Bannon, the linesman. We've seen too many linesmen put up their flag, but that ball was still in play. That's Owen Brosnan trying to muscle his way through. It's like rugby, they're all over the place, chasing like a pack. Comes back to the free man, Enda McGinley. Darragh O'Shea trying to bring a bit of order to midfield, but they're just booting it anywhere, and it's Dewar who snatches it up. When have you seen anything like this?
Well, it's like a pack of ravenous dogs, the way they're getting around the Kerry players. Fantastic spirit, fantastic enthusiasm from Tyrone, really showing no respect whatsoever. And when have we seen a Kerry team in an Ireland final going 15 minutes without a score?
And there is the ankle injury of Peter Canavan being addressed now, the ankle being... well, there's ice being placed upon it. I'm just checking the yellow card, and it's John Sheehan who's got a yellow card. That's a second yellow card for a Kerry player. Both of them operating on the left-hand side of the back line. Brian Dewar into space. This is Stephen O'Neill. His big day, perhaps. Beautiful ball by McGinley inside here. Cavan is coming onto it. It's gone over. He got a goal against Fermanagh. The man who loves to tear ahead and join the inside forward line, and did so with telling effect there, and he makes it 4 points to no score. That's a goal and 9 points he scored in this year's championship. Young man from Moy.
Yes, again, Colin, before we'll start getting caught with scores fairly quickly.
That was the first score in 10 minutes of this semi-final. What is happening to Kerry? They may yet win this match, but there's an awful long way to go between now and 5 o'clock. But they have a battle on their hands. McGuigan freeing it outside towards Cavallan, having a tremendous contest. And some holding there. This time it's by Seamus Moynihan on the fresh man in, Stephen O'Neill. Seamus Moynihan will have been preparing himself for a battle against Canavan, but he's got a fresh opponent, and a very good one at that.
Yes, indeed, and again, what's work.
Owen Mulligan taking over the free-taking duties. Canavan had missed the last one, and Mulligan is bang on cue to point with tremendous accuracy. Every one of the full forward line that started the match has now scored. Canavan and Mulligan getting their points from frees. But in case you've just switched on late here, Peter Canavan is out of the semi-final with an ankle injury, and the latest concern is Declan O'Keefe with this kick. Kerry trying to win some ball. Darragh O'Shea is beaten for it. Fists it down. Missed by his brother Tomas. Taken by Brian McGuigan for a very alert-looking Tyrone team, but Stephen O'Neill that time fumbled, leaves Moynihan with a chance to try and play it to space, only to a Tyrone forward, and that's Owen Mulligan. Mulligan ready to take on his man, who is Mike McCarthy, the Kerry captain. At this stage, it must seem an awful long way from the All-Ireland final on the 28th of September for Kerry. McGuigan kicking, and he's put it over the bar. His second point. What a season he's having, Brian McGuigan. And the fans are cheering on their team. Yes, and Kerry have no response so far. No,
none indeed. And again, Tomas O'Shea is on him at the moment. Again, a lovely pass from Mulligan out to him. Great body strength to keep O'Shea at bay, and a wonderful score from the right wing.
Kerry have given Tyrone a 6-point lead. 20 minutes into the game, roughly. And this is really putting it up to the Munster champions, the great traditionalists. It's another Tyrone free kick.
We've rarely seen a team so enthusiastic and so tough in the way they're applying themselves. It's been fantastic so far for the first 20 minutes, and they're asking an awful lot of questions of Kerry, and so far there's no response. I
think a lot of the Kerry fans who've made the journey, exhorted by Paulie to do so, to come in numbers, and it's a huge journey from the Kingdom, are thinking back to that semi-final against Meath 2 years ago. Owen Mulligan, lovely dummy initially, but a great block down. That's very good work indeed, expertly done by Mike McCarthy, and McCarthy sticking to the task, the Kilcommon man, hoping that he lifts Sam at the end of the season and be presented with the trophy by another Kilcommon man, the GAA president, Sean Kelly. Has that ever happened before? There's Darragh Kinneida, breaking ball. Conor Gormley was stumbling, and it's gone off the Tyrone player, so a bit of a respite.
Enthusiasm at all as Tyrone.
They come looking again for an opening score, Kerry, but beaten by Ryan McMenamin. Inside towards Kevin Hughes, the midfielder is funneled back. Again, they work as a unit, and it's Cormac McAnallen, former minor and under-21 All-Ireland winning captain. This is out towards Philip Jordan, and that's going to be a free. It's a push, and it is Brian Doer is about to take it. Very quickly delivered in, 2 men inside forward line, and there's a stumble there, and it's eventually Seamus Moynihan who gets the free kick, takes it himself. How they need a couple of scores just to settle them down. Otherwise, we're talking about a mismatch. Liam Hassett, Tyrone with 14 men at the moment, with a player down on the deck injured. Comes out to Cavlin, he misses it. Kevin Hughes, a chance to bend his back, very focused. And here comes Cormac McAnallen, wearing number 3, well away from the fringe of the square. Sean Kavanagh, emerging as one of the great stars of the 2003 championship. Inside for O'Neill, ready to take them all on. They're bouncing off him, and he's holding on to possession. Great strength and resilience been demonstrated by players down there. Finally, it's Doer. Knows a little pushing of his own. Free kick to Kerry. It's John Sheehan there, the left half back. The crowd has gone a bit silent, waiting for a response from Kerry.
I think they're stunned.
Hassett. Doer with a little steal. Just controlling the pace of the attack now. Inside towards Sean Kavanagh. He's kicked one already. Here's another chance if he can get it on the left boot. He can. A couple of hops there. Might have taken one too many, but it's something that's gone unpenalised. But there is a free kick, but it's to Kerry. Eamon Fitzmaurice going by McGuigan. Fitzmaurice feeding it ahead here. This is a bit more promising. Nicely inside, Tom Sullivan nicely out. Gooch, can he finally point for Kerry? He can, but it's taken 24 minutes and 10 seconds. Six points to 1. Kerry will suddenly feel, hang on, we've given them the opening 24 minutes of this match. Now it's our turn to play. Only 5 between them all of a sudden.
Yes, and interestingly enough, that's the first time Kerry have controlled their possession quite well coming forward. A good run and a good, diagonal ball and a good finish from Gooch.
And Kerry have, as we mentioned earlier on, several very useful subs to bring in. As we watch Mike Frank Russell back down towards Dara O'Kineda. Quick look up at the post, partial block on that. Just goes forward. Well collected, nicely taken there. Ryan McMenamin getting it away out towards Enda McGinley. It does a kind of a Tony McEntee of Armagh job by roaming way out the field. And Declan O'Sullivan, the one who commits the foul.
Yes, Declan hasn't got into the game at all yet, and again, there's always a danger with a young lad that the game can pass you by actually at this stage.
Dooher determined that it won't pass him by. Mind you, the pass just about passed Philip Jordan by and caught by Pawdy. Fitzmaurice angling this one into space, a real hit and hope one. Ryan McMenamin mopping it up or attempting to do so, but Gooch is a tough character. Colin Cooper, who's a business studies student at Tralee IT. And you can see the shoulders coming in with determination. And the man nursing the injury right now is Mike Frank Russell. Doesn't look at his...
Of the tackling. Just watch this belt here. Again, a very, very, very tough collision that time. I think it was the right half-back, Conor Gormley, came in on it. But again...
Kineda will kick this one. Usually a very, very good free kicker, but that has gone all the way through to young John Devine, the 19-year-old goalkeeper. Out to Sean Canavan. It was badly caught by Dara O'Kineda. And it was Tomas O'Shea who was coming flying in there, and you could see Liam Hassett swinging around an opponent as well. And the referee stepping in fairly quickly, just to make sure that everybody is playing by the rules. The last little throw there was on Conor Gormley. So a chance then for Ryan McMenamin to hit this free kick after Tomas O'Shea, by the way, had a ticking. And that ball is going to be thrown up.
That is correct. He can't take all day to actually take the free kick, and Jerry Kniebe is absolutely right to throw it up.
He's very tight on these situations, free kicks taken from the wrong spot or delayed unnecessarily. Dara O'Shea, that is John Sheehan up there with the attack. O'Shea again, trying to link up with a colleague and nobody making the easy pass for him with a bit of movement into space. Brian McGuigan, who's got two very he missed the last one, hit it badly, and he's missed this one as well. Bounces off Ryan McMenamin. Conor Gourley was in there. They attempt to stop it and it's gone wide, and that becomes
but at the same time there's no excuse for missing those two types of frees, and Kerry need them badly at the moment.
John Devine playing in his 8th championship match. Dara O'Shea coming, that's a brilliant catch. Best bit of piece of high fielding in midfield we've seen so far in the game. Useful little spell now with 5 minutes to go to half time as Dara O'Shea kicks it, and he kicks it hopelessly to the right. 2 minutes.
But he's not getting into the game to the same extent as we would have expected.
Kerry have made a switch in their forward line, and the number 14 and 11 have switched on Gavin Devlin, and Dara O'Kineda has gone into the fringe of the square. Would it make a difference? Doer sending this one dangerously in towards O'Neill. Now McGuigan, and a little push there behind, and you can see that Mike McCarthy is and a chance of another Tyrone score. There it is, the hand was into the back, and the little push, and Mulligan made sure that the referee saw him go down. And coming in is Mark O'Shea, a back of course, replaced in the first half of the Roscommon game. Stephen O'Neill has hit the free and he's put it over the bar, and so he extends Tyrone's lead. And as you were a little while back, there are 6 between them.
Yes, and credit Tyrone, they've actually kind of negatived the strong points in the Kerry team. They have actually put a lot of pressure on Seamus Moynihan at fullback, as well as that Dara O'Shea is struggling because of the constant pressure that's been put on him. And again, a lot of the quality is coming from that.
That was Tyrone's first score there in 14 minutes as John Sheehan comes off, Mark O'Shea comes on. It's a reverse of the switch that was made against Roscommon 3 weeks ago. Well, will that plug gaps? Cavanagh chasing after this one like a JCB. Tomas O'Shea up towards Declan O'Sullivan. The man who's challenging for possession there is Gavin Devlin. Comes back here towards Liam Hassett. Little block on it again. Tyrone's work rate is immense. Jared Cavallan into space, a stumble by Mulligan. Easily taken in, however, by Mike McCarthy. Eamon Fitzmaurice continuing to operate at right half-back. And Gooch just loses out as Tyrone come forward once again with Enda McGinley. Between goalkeeper and incoming forward, and the cornerback and captain Mike McCarthy did well to restrain Owen Mulligan fairly that time. Back out towards Tom Sullivan. Tomas O'Shea. Well, Kerry just playing it around at the back there, holding possession, but really going nowhere. And you wonder about their game plan. Well, it was to result in a broken ball like that from Philip Jordan to set something up. A mistake by Tyrone gives Kerry an opportunity to come in for a score, but it's very much to the right, and it's gone wide. It was Cooper who hit it, and it was Mike Frank Russell who was endeavouring to keep it in play.
Yes, and just going back to your game plan, actually, Gerard, both Darren O'Shea and Owen Brosnan are playing very far back into their half-back line at the moment. And again, the movement in the forward line isn't what we expect of Kerry. They're not simply making enough runs, and Tyrone are managing to get bodies back there to prevent any quality being given through to them.
Well, there's going to be 8 minutes of added time to be played at the end of the first 35 minutes. So we got about another 9 minutes of action because of those hold-ups, in particular to Peter Canavan, who was down twice, you may remember. And there was another injury as well to Mike Frank Russell. So a chance for Kerry to tag on a couple of scores. 1 point, a miserable return. A horrible performance by the Munster champions, being well and truly beaten. But they've still got lots of time as Hassett takes it forward. Released inside towards Mike Frank, into the corner to Gooch. Where will he turn it to? Right back onto the 45-metre line. Again, they emerge with possession and look for something here. Little block once again. Great Tyrone work. Everybody funneling back, never giving up the ghost. And even there, when we saw that final shot on the target by...
I think that Kerry are throwing at them, and Kerry, to be fair, are going laterally too much. There's not enough quick ball coming in directly. They're tending to go across field.
One back here again by Tom O'Sullivan. And that is another awful kick. Oh, we've seen them in the last couple of seasons promise and threaten an awful lot, and without delivering necessarily. So it shouldn't come as a complete and total shock. It's a Kerry free kick, and this time it's Mike Frank Russell who comes out to take it.
Yes, this year was to be atonement year, you know, 2003 and all that, the centenary of the first All-Ireland. But they're all over the place.
Well, there's not a great deal of atoning done right now, but Declan O'Sullivan is a young player with a very bright future, but right now part of a team struggling big time. This time the ball had line ball to Tyrone. We've seen the two sides of Tyrone in a way also, I think. When they're attacking, they attack in waves, and they really make it impossibly difficult for the backs to concentrate. There are just so many bodies going forward, and then, as you say, their ability to swarm backwards and just perform as a unit and just close up everything the opposition can throw at them.
Yes, that's true, but look at the handling there again. Look at the crispness of the Tyrone tackling.
And this will be a point, surely. It's McGuigan going through, might even go in for a goal. He's got himself a free kick. It will be a point, but it's... So they're on ticks. Horrible day for Kerry overall, as Mulligan kicks and points. Second pointed free for Owen Mulligan. They have half the job done. They must be aware of that now. Did they believe they'd be in this situation about 1986? And those of us who were here that day remember how into the second half they had a very handsome lead against Kerry, and they ended up, I think, losing by 7 or 8. It was a turnaround of 15 points. Anything can happen, but it's happening right now for Jared Cavlin and his team. Nice ball down. Who's marking McGuigan? Nothing really happening. Once again, it is Stephen O'Neill. Good ball in. Decent possession for McGinley. Back in towards O'Neill, and he's hauled down, and it's going to be another free kick. Tomoso.
Quite unbelievable to see them playing with so little composure, so little confidence, and so little ability at this stage of an All-Ireland series.
Pressure is now on the management. Owen Mulligan with a third point from a free. And he's got 3 frees, 3 points, and he makes it 9 points to 1. At this stage, I don't think the bookies would even entertain a bet against Tyrone to reach this year's All-Ireland final. 35 minutes of action still to go in the second half. And about another 4 minutes of additional time here. An amazing first half. Declan O'Sullivan picking it up. How a goal for Kerry might change things around. O'Sullivan again, trying to engineer something. That's a very bad pass. Hits straight at Ryan McMenamin. Tyrone have players covering space. They almost appear to have 17 on the field. Kerry disjointed, not functioning proper as a unit. The heads have dropped a long time ago as McGuigan belts it in here towards Mulligan, taking on everybody and anybody and kicking to the left. Well, it was a lovely move, but a horrible finish.
Yeah, wonderful passing from McGuigan. He makes himself available all the time, taking up the spaces where the ball is about to be delivered. But then the quality of the diagonal ball is just a joy to behold.
It's only Tyrone's second wide in the half, a half which is now 40 minutes old. And that just about tells it all, doesn't it? Sheer frustration, having made the long journey, and the team isn't just underperforming, it's not performing.
I think a sheer disbelief, actually, by a lot of the Kerry followers.
I think it's that question I asked you before the ball was thrown in. How relevant is tradition? In the great game nowadays, it doesn't matter over it. If you're well prepared and if you're going to go in there with good quality players, you've got a real chance. And that's what Tyrone are showing us. Decent looking attack by Kerry. Can it produce a second point? The umpires had a little thought about it. They put it over, and it is Mark O'Shea who's got it, having come on as a substitute just about 10 minutes ago. And it's 9 points to 2, only 7 between them. It's to Kerry's credit that they are just 7 points behind.
That's a great strike from Mark O'Shea. Again, something that they need badly coming into half-time. And talking at half-time, it'll be very interesting to be in there listening to Paddy, trying to get his troops going.
No, this is family entertainment. We don't want to even put a microphone near that door. Tyrone scoring chances from the first half, 41 minutes, 42 minutes of the half so far. 14 scoring chances against 9 for Kerry. 9 scores to 2. Johnny Crowley reaching up for this one. Can he make a difference inside to Gooch? And he normally kicks with such style and accuracy, but the cheers you're hearing are from the Ulster supporters of Tyrone.
And when you think about it, Gerard, they've missed 3 frees, they've missed 1 or 2 opportunities like that. Could have them right back in the game had they taken it, even though they have been completely outclassed in the first half.
Paddy will not give up, the selectors will not give up, but they've got to get the message through now to the 15 players and the couple of subs they plan to bring on yet. And it's a Tyrone team, remember, without Peter Canavan. And it's been Tyrone's first half. They were magnificent. They performed. They came with a good reputation on... who's on? Yeah, he's on Brian McGuigan. And as you say, Seamus Scanlon is in for Mike Frank Russell, which means that Kerry have now used up 3 of their 5 possible switches or changes. So it's come down to this. 35 minutes to reach the All-Ireland final. Straight away, Johnny Crowley using a bit of muscle there up against Kieran Gourley, trying to worm his way through, showing he's not going to be knocked around the place easily. And it's a free kick on the 20-metre line, and a chance now to put 6 between them.
That's a very encouraging start from Crowley, even though he's getting involved in a little bit of afters, but he certainly put down a marker to Gourley that time that he's not going to be pushed around in this half.
Johnny Crowley, who is a Garda Síochána in Mayfield in Cork. And Kieran Gourley, for his troubles there, got a ticking from the referee. Any more of that, and he gets a card. And it's kicked over the bar there by Dara O'Kineda. And it's his first point of the match, coming from a free in the first minute of the second half. Owen Brosnan has switched into centre-half forward on Gavin Devlin in the rearranged formation for Kerry. Seamus Scanlon, Dara O'Shea in midfield, and all of a sudden Kerry taking, as we expect, something of a grip in the early stages of the half. Trying to put down some markers, get some possession and get some scores. But they battle away at the back there. Tyrone and Cormac McAnallen trying to bend his back to gain possession. It's going to be a throw ball by the referee, Jerry Knievy from County Roscommon.
Already there's a harder edge to Kerry, a little bit more steel than we saw in the first half on the evidence of the first couple of incidents.
Paddy O'Shea, I'm sure, had an awful lot to say to his charges at half-time. Strong words, I'm certain, were spoken. Liam Hassett picking himself up here. And the throw in there will involve Owen Brosnan and also Cormac McAnallen. Dara O'Shea is the one who in fact gets possession. And an opportunity all of a sudden here. Brosnan's shot blocked down well by Kieran Gourley. Gourley is injured doing that. Out as far as Brian Doer for Tyrone. The Ulster champions leading by 9 points to 3. Early stages of the second half. After, from a competitive point of view, a pretty forgettable first half of the match. As Tyrone, as you know, in that opening 30, whatever it was, number of minutes, overwhelmed the kingdom. And all of that without the injured Peter Canavan. And it's Kerry goal. Then Dara O'Shea trying to claim it. He was fouled, however, and it's going to be a free, which is quickly taken, but only as far as Kevin Hughes of Tyrone, up towards Owen Mulligan. Mulligan has it, holds on well, tries to make an angle. Now it's the turn of Kerry to funnel them back, but they get it into the free man. McGuigan inside once again towards Hughes. Back again towards McGuigan, coming through with some power. McGinley. Oh, what a shot by McGinley. O'Neill, and there we saw the substitute Mark O'Shea and Brian Doer And the referee doing a little bit of note-taking. I think numbers have been recorded once again. So it all ends up with a kick-out eventually. The referee is still doing his note-taking, still recording the involvement of certain players in the last piece of play. Up there we've got Tom Sullivan from Rathmore, same club as Declan O'Keefe. And there as well, the man you're watching is Stephen O'Neill. And that's a yellow card per player, I think, which means that Tom O'Sullivan now becomes the fifth member of the back line that started for Kerry to have a yellow card. The only player not to have a yellow card among the outfield players, Seamus Moynihan, Footballer of the Year back in 2000. There was a push by Kevin Hughes, free kick to Kerry from the middle of the field. Protest by Hughes, so it's brought forward, not quite 13 metres, but enough for Kerry to take it. Dara O'Shea inside there, missed by Dara O'Kineda. It's Cormac McAnallen instead. Outside here towards Kieran Gourley, goes to ground there under the weight of the challenge from Dara O'Kineda.
Yes, that time McAnallen was very assured under the high ball.
And Tyrone now just wanting to weather the storm and go maybe 10 minutes, maintain their lead against Kerry and come with a finish of their own. Brian McGuigan, huge one in. Stephen O'Neill drops it down, and that's enough for Mike McCarthy to get on to. Scanlon, first involvement since coming in as a half-time substitute. Eamon Fitzmaurice wanting to take the free kick. The man from Finoog up there in North Kerry. Declan O'Sullivan now, very, very deep. Started at full forward. Seamus Moynihan out around the half-back line at this stage. By comparison with the way the team was originally selected and the changes they've had to make, Kerry have been forced into very, very fundamental alterations. And again, the referee is going to award against Seamus Moynihan here and throw the ball up. The free kick not taken quickly enough. Seamus was moving a yard or two forward, not very much, it has to be said. And it was frustration from Moynihan because the other Kerry players simply weren't moving into space.
That's exactly it. And again, with Jerry Knievy this year, that's one of his trademark calls that he makes, is if a player oversteps the mark from where the free will be taken, he will call for a throw-up between the two teams.
One back here by Sean Kavanagh. Still holding on for dear life underneath all that. And the referee in the end says you held on far too long. Not sure what he could have done with it there. It was Enda McGinley last man up. Johnny Crowley lets it bounce. Takes it well. Looks for support. Dara O'Shea is available. Ready to take on Kevin Hughes. Beats him with ease. Striking it to the left, and the keeper, John Devine, decides to restart. He could have left this one go out. Didn't do so, and now could experience some difficulty as Hassett fires it back in to Gooch. Comes back into the middle, inside towards Brosnan. But once again, the great resolution and determination of Tyrone is evident, and Jared Cavallan back there fouled. From the very beginning, they've had a winning look about them, but they've an awful lot of work to do. Only 6 points in it.
And once again, that six-man blanket is around the player with the ball. Great bit of defending by Cavallan in particular.
Free kick will have to be retaken because the referee decides to stop the match, and there's concern about the, well, I thought it was concern about the ankle rather than the boot laces of Dara O'Shea.
He seemed to go over actually on the ankle in the last occasion that he was.
Cormac McAnallen then linking up with goalkeeper John Devine. Hit in towards McGinley. Seamus Scanlon finding Johnny Crowley, the one man who can take on this Tyrone defence. It's close, but not quite close enough, and he was well aware of it from the top. There is Owen Brosnan, broken down by Dara O'Kineda. Hasn't really been in the match, but it's been difficult against the tenacity of Brian Doer and company.
The game is perfectly set up for Tyrone at the moment. They have this 6-point lead. They're well capable of actually using that cushion and play very, very defensively and hold on to that.
Another delay.
And there's very much a stop-start kind of trend to the second half so far. It's punctuated by too many frees.
Cormac McAnallen, a very athletic figure coming from the rear. Ahead by Conor Gormley. Into space, and it's Ryan McMenamin. A real terrier. Gooch is after him. He's his man. McMenamin coming up from cornerback to kick with accuracy and put it over. He's providing the leadership, the little number 4. Playing in his 17th championship match, a very fast and effective player. And that is just his 2nd point in this year's championship. He scored against Down earlier on in one of the Ulster final matches. Another free kick.
Must be said too, Ger, the Tyrone are working so hard by comparison with Kerry. In terms of the tackling, there's a greater intensity to it. When they get possession, there's much more support for the guy with the ball. And again, they're getting players forward much more than Kerry. Kerry, there's so many players static today.
O'Kenneda's kick towards Johnny Crowley. Again, he takes up a good position, but quite unable to link up with Colm Cooper. And Enda McGinley, the free man from the full forward line. A couple of teams now at this level of the game, employing just 2 men in the inside line and leaving another guy free. It's not a new tactic, but the way in which they're employing it is certainly fascinating. Cavlan seized on well there by Eamon Fitzmaurice. Seamus Moynihan, lovely style, but needs to get his team going. Tomas O'Shea coming into the action. O'Shea chased by Sean Kavanagh. Getting support there. Gooch had started the run back. Firing it in, and he's fired it wide. No joy for Colm Cooper. 1 point. That the very first of the match for Kerry. In that case, Hughes against Scanlon. All the breaking ball being won by Tyrone. They're so good at scrapping. Kerry like to play it elegantly, but for the rest of this match they need to roll the sleeves up insofar as they can and muck in if they're to have any chance at all of rescuing this. Cavlan nicely ahead for Philip Jordan, one of the outstanding left half backs in the game this year, and he is knocked over, and it's Declan O'Sullivan who tracked back.
To think a new plan B, and they're not able to find it. Actually, their normal kind of poetic style isn't there today.
Not the greatest of frees by Owen Mulligan, and back there is Dara O'Shea. Chance to restart, going by Mulligan. Doors in there to tackle as well. Kerry just about holding possession. Tomas O'Shea way back there, up towards Colm Cooper against Ryan McMenamin. Cormac McAnallen, the man about whom they wondered whether he could make a really good job of the full-back position. He's certainly been answering so far in the affirmative as Fitzmaurice starts again. Dara O'Shea, usually a very good passer of the ball, outside to Moynihan. Seamus Scanlon coming into the equation, down towards Johnny Crowley. Again, given a little bit of latitude by Kieran Gourlier. I think he's a little bit tentative in his approach where Crowley's concerned. Colm Cooper, 2 men on him. Gavin Devlin is one of them. Here's Seamus Moynihan way up there. Kerry needs scores. Here's a chance of a goal as O'Sullivan's on, and he's cracked it over the bar. Should have gone for a goal. They needed it. It's his first point.
Oh yes, and Dara Major was hovering with intent to the left of them that time. Should have been given the ball.
10-4. The Kerry fans finding their voice now, and a chance to cheer, a chance to encourage the build-up here involving Hassett. The pass laid across to Declan O'Sullivan, taking on the man there, but he put it over when he needed to put it under.
And this is significantly
their full value for it. McGinley drops it. Now have they the self-reliance and the confidence in their own ability as a team to stay the course? McMenamin out towards Gavin Devlin. Here's Philip Jordan. Again, just elegantly playing it around, looking for the correct pass, going long. And then chasing after it was Stephen O'Neill. Breaks for Brian McGuigan. McGuigan taking on Liam Hassett. Run back by Seamus Moynihan. Back to Hassett it comes. 16 minutes into the second half. Another quarter of the game remaining. Referee having the words there with Stephen O'Neill. Well, if he was, that's interesting because he's already given him a yellow card. Now, did the referee intend to book him? That would have been a red. Maybe he just decided it didn't merit a sending off. Away come Kerry once again. Fed inside here. Kerry looking determined at this stage, suddenly finding a bit of form and confidence. Colin Cooper finding a gap, finding support. O'Sullivan letting it run ahead. Fumbled there by Mark O'Shea, but regained and kicked in the end by Colin Cooper. He's claiming he should be getting a 45 for that. The umpire has waved it wide. The referee is checking with the Kerry. Eildon McGarrett. Seamus Scanlon wrestled to the ground. Kerry want to take the free kick quickly. Liam Hassett. 4 points in this match for Kerry. A miserable return in an All-Ireland semi-final, but it's happened before to them 2 years ago against Meath. Runs on for Cormac McAnallen. He's got support outside, and that's going to be a free kick. Philip Jordan, the man who was up in support of the player in possession. And that is the 50th free awarded by referee Jerry Knievy in the match. A massive tally, tells its own story, and it underlines the indiscipline that has been running through the contest. 6 between them still. Another yellow card, and this one I think is to Enda McGinley. It is, and that is the second yellow card for a Tyrone player. The other one was Stephen O'Neill. Cavlin hitting it into space, bad ball. Always going to favour the midfield player, Seamus Scanlon. Could have given it to another sub, Mark O'Shea. To Moynihan instead. Still about 17 minutes of the match remaining, plus stoppage time. Kerry with it all to do. Beyond Quill this time, he stumbles. McAnallen, good ball forward. Nice play there by Kieran Gourley towards Mulligan. Ready to challenge, ready to torment the Kerry captain, Mike McCarthy. Holding it up, bringing another player into it. It's then a wayward kick, and it's picked up there by Liam Hassett, who's fouled. Free kick to Kerry. Darrow O'Shea wants to take it quickly. Kerry now needing a goal, you feel, at this stage of the match, just to try and bridge the gap. And he has got a frontal charge there. The referee decides on Stephen O'Neill. He'll dispute that one, I think, and it's going to be a free kick to Tyrone.
Yeah, Shamey's problem that time. I think Kerry can still snatch it, but they're going to need a goal, and that goal has to come very quickly. But they haven't been able to really disrupt the control that Tyrone have exercised in the game throughout.
That's a bad free kick by Mulligan, but by Stephen O'Neill, but it might come good just yet. Kept alive inside towards Doer, and he's dispossessed well on the 20-metre line. Seamus Scanlon getting it away to Seamus Moynihan. Back out here towards Liam Hassett. Tyrone with only 1 point, remember, in the second half so far. 20 and a half minutes gone. All the good work has been done in the opening 35 minutes from their point of view. Brian McGuigan hitting it into space. Kerry just almost freezing, but the attack continues with Enda McGinley in on the end line. Taking them all on, McGinley into space, and it's stopped on the line. Taken off the line brilliantly after Owen Mulligan went in to reach for that. And we'll just have to do a double check to make sure we've got the right player in the right position there. I think it could have been Declan O'Sullivan. Way back. Whoever it was saved Kerry, because had that gone in there, I think the match as a contest was over. It was indeed Declan O'Sullivan. What a place to pop up right on your own goal line.
That was a wonderful piece of defending by Declan Sullivan, who's playing out of centre half forward at the moment. Just watch McGinley going around him. Very intelligent pass back to Mulligan. Gets maybe not a full contact on the ball, but excellent positional play by Declan O'Sullivan.
Young lad straight out of minor, of course. There's another former minor, Cormac McAnallen, but then most of this Tyrone team have minor and under-21 All-Ireland medals. Kicked in there adventurously by Declan Quill. Spilled. Tyrone now showing us a little bit of the nerves. Cormac McAnallen just needing to play out this phase of the game. They won't worry too much about what scores they're amassing during the second half of the contest, just so long as they remain a firm distance ahead of the kingdom. Kerry still believe they're in it. Scanlon towards Johnny Crowley. Likely to pop up anywhere. Liam Hassett coming through. Kerry needing a goal, and everybody from Tyrone back there.
Yes, and if the point this one, there's only going to be 5 points between them. Again, as we've said earlier, if Kerry came up with a goal out of somewhere, I'll tell you the fat is certainly in the fire then.
It would be some recovery if they managed to pull this one out.
Seems to me they have only scored, actually, is it 1 point in the half time? Yeah, that's
Declan Quill kicking the free from the 20-metre line. He's pulled it over. And as you say, the gap is now down to more manageable proportions from a Kerry perspective. 10 points to 5.
The same intensity that they have had throughout. Like, they went at it so hard in the first half, it must have taken something out of them.
That's a great catch again by Darragh O'Shea. A colossus in midfield. Second wonderful high catch is made. Bad marking there by Ryan McMenamin, allowing Gooch free. And then it spills away from Mark O'Shea, and there's a foul, and it's a free kick to Tyrone.
Dooher as a worker and Cavlin as a fielder of the ball.
It's lovely variation, and the chemistry is just right. But they've only scored 1 point in 25 minutes of the second half, and that tells us something about their sense of belief in themselves. Are they prepared to take chances? It also shows us Kerry fighting back. But did they just allow Tyrone to build up this huge gap in the first half?
Well, I think that's it. They have got their lead. They're going to allow it. They're using it as a cushion. They're prepared to put that defensive system into operation and make it very hard for Kerry to go and break it down.
Player down injured there appears to be Sean Kavanagh. Big muscular figure in midfield. This is the foul again in reprise here. Really hurt himself when he hit the ground that time. It was a lovely green sward and so on. There is a real hard surface underneath the grass, so it's quite unforgiving. A lot of fumbling back there. Fitzmaurice eventually taking it up. Cavlin was approaching, and it's going to be a free to Kerry. They want to take it quickly. Goalkeeper Declan O'Keefe. Scanlon's way back. Pushing the back. Tyrone now just wanted to force Kerry back down the field. Any light of the breeze that's there is in Tyrone's favour. Seamus Moynihan. Darragh O'Shea now. Colin Cooper skips away and is wrestled on by Ryan McMenamin. That's a yellow card, or should be.
Well, that's a cynical foul that time.
He hasn't been ticked so far. That doesn't matter anyway, because that kind of offence, I think. So 3 Tyrone players with yellows, and where Kerry are concerned, I think the total came to 6. So far too many cards.
Yes, and I'm just wondering, are Tyrone starting to give away frees in very dangerous positions and allow Kerry to claw their way back into the game? Look at, if they score this, we're back to a 4-point game. There's a good 10 minutes to go.
They're looking very wobbly all of a sudden, having been in cruise control.
Well, by all means, much the better team.
Quill kicks and belts it over for his second point from a free.
Having taken half has been Darragh O'Shea. Some of his feeding has been absolutely outstanding.
Beaten this time, however, by Kevin Hughes. He stumbles down, and it's going to be a free kick. And again, the referee is busy with a notebook.
He has been far too many.
Which Jared Cavlin is preparing to take. Made a really explosive start to the game, Cavlin, with the first 3 catches taken very cleanly. And that set up a platform from which Tyrone have been able to build very firmly. They're playing with enough assurance at this stage to look like the team who will make it through to the final, barring some kind of a catastrophe. Sean Kavanagh, into the corner he goes, taking on Darragh O'Shea, teasing and tormenting his man, using a few valuable seconds. Could do with a score here. Hughes setting it up for O'Neill. Checked his stride well and kicked firmly and over. It's a second point for Stephen O'Neill. Now the fans, with the belief in their team, who travelled the distances over the years, look like they're seeing their team through to a final. 5 between them. That's the second point for Tyrone in the second half.
Yeah, and a huge score that time, but again, we must hand it to Kavanagh. Made a great burst down the right-hand side, had the vision to see the man inside him, and again, give it to O'Neill, who put it over with his right foot.
Interesting change that, with Collie Holmes coming on. Usually a full-back or a defender anyway, could play in midfield as well. And I think it's a case of bringing on fresh legs to fight it for the remaining 5 minutes plus stoppage time to ensure victory. Again, Kerry go forward. Hassett ready to take the line ball. Kerry, for a large portion of this match, have simply been blown apart. But they're still there.
Yeah, but
it's looking very definitely like an All-Ulster, All-Ireland football final, because the second of the semis, which you'll be able to see next Sunday, of course, Armagh, the All-Ireland champions against Donegal. And that sees a boot going flying in there, and it's going to be a free to Tyrone. Four minutes of the 70 remain. Ryan McMenamin. Kerry have never been able to live with Tyrone, and there's too many steps taken by McMenamin. Kerry will need a goal here. Can somebody provide it for them? Here's a chance. Crowley's around, trying to go through. He's looking for a penalty. Referee still playing time, and too many steps taken is the call. It goes Tyrone's way, and it's a free out. Controversial.
Like to see that one again, indeed. A very high ball coming in. Crowley did very well to run it. I thought he was fouled initially, but let's just take a look at it again. Gets the ball, confronted by Conor Gormley. Again, burrows forward all right. The backs stand off him, and maybe okay, free out is the right
I think
decision.
The referee's got it right there. They didn't rush in with clumsy... John Devine. Following that, let off for Tyrone. Another free kick, this time on the 65-metre line, and Tomas O'Shea to take what is the 70th free kick of the match. Littered with free kicks, littered with cards. A wretched display. And the saving grace is Tyrone's emphatic performance of teamwork.
Yeah, it's been a very untidy game, and that's putting it mildly. But again, Tyrone's intensity throughout, Tyrone's just will to win has prevailed, or I think will prevail, even though there's just a couple of minutes left.
It's like they've come here to play different kinds of football matches. Good movement, great finish. But it comes back off the post just there when Sean Kavanagh thought it had gone over. About a minute and a half remaining of normal time. The referee and his call here will be very interesting. How much time is he going to add on? Brian Doore recovered from injury, demonstrating that brilliantly. The outside of the boot, the ball dissecting the posts, sending the crowd into raptures. Doore's first point. Tyrone are on their way to the All-Ireland final now, surely on the 28th day of September, where they will play either Armagh or Donegal. Tomas O'Shea hit and hope into space. Kerry, from the very beginning, have been simply wiped asunder here. They've had no answer.
Yeah, and I think it's very fitting, actually, that Doore goes and scores that point with his right foot, because he has worked and worked and worked. He's given everything that's in the tank, you know, for the Tyrone cause today. Takes a lot of criticism, maybe not the prettiest footballer to watch at times, but by God Almighty, he gives everything he has.
The fifth substitution right at the very end, as we head into injury time for Kerry. Aidan McGarrell, Liam Hassett is off. But they're going to need half of Tralee and half of Killarney down there right now to try and win this one. As O'Neill comes through and kicks it over the bar. Stephen O'Neill's third point. Now they'll be wondering in Tyrone, A, will Peter Canavan be okay to play in the final? And B, how are they going to get the tickets?
And it's fully deserved, Gerard. They've worked and worked and worked, and they have reduced Kerry to a shadow of the team that we expected to come out here today.
13-6, and there'll only be 2 minutes of added time to be played at the end of the 70. The game is up for Kerry. It's been like that for a long, long time. Tyrone have been much the better side. The Ulster champions beating the Munster team. Tyrone created 23 scoring chances against 19 for Kerry. From that point of view, it doesn't look much of a gap. Collie Holmes in there as a substitute, comes back out towards Owen Mulligan. They'll be seen again in this year's All-Ireland football final. The first ever All-Ulster football final beckons 5 weeks from today. Colm Cooper way back to Forage. He should be up at the other end, getting a couple of passes, getting a couple of scores. But Kerry have been rudderless. Late opportunity here, and this time it is going to be a free in from the 20-metre line. But the Tyrone backs won't worry too much about that. The main purpose of the exercise was to win by at least one, as Declan Quill, the man who was fouled by Cormac McAnallen. Cormac, for the record, gets yellow. Tyrone have had 4 yellow cards, 6 for Kerry, 10 yellow cards in the match, 70+ free kicks. But when the record books are gleaned in years to come, people will say, well, what happened that day? It was the day that Tyrone qualified for another All-Ireland. Ounced. The margin of victory doesn't reflect it. It's only 7 points at the end. But there was one magnificent team out there. They had a game plan. Mickey Hart put them through their paces, prepared them really, really well. It was frustrating for Paddy O'Shea and his charges, but Tyrone are in another All-Ireland football final. They're one of those counties who've never won the title. Will Sam be going north to Tyrone? He'll be going north anyway, to either Tyrone or Armagh or Donegal. It's an All-Ulster, All-Ireland final for 2003. And the All-Ireland semi-final has ended here. Tyrone
Start it off and finish up with the marvellous